What's up? Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the live stream. And what's up? I hope you guys like that new intro. I kind of redid it so that it kind of matches the logo. You feel me? You feel me? It's that Monday vibe. Welcome back. We are on a new week, and this week is going to be a super exciting week because we have a shit ton of companies reporting earnings. I cannot wait to start on this live stream. Welcome in. Nice to have you guys back here. Once again, you humble me with your presence, with people waking up at all times just to make this live stream. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for your time and giving me the opportunity to brief you. Let me get this Monday thingy out of the way for you guys. Okay, so as we usually do, we will be surveying the news, followed by the yada yada. You guys know the drill by now. Keep your questions posted in the comments and like the video if you haven't already. Sorry, like the stream so that YouTube's algorithm goes hubba hubba hubba. And let's begin. So with Bloomberg reporting that we have a $6 trillion slump, and I think it says that it's optimistic. Okay. So we're expecting something worse. I think, yes, it is safe to say that we are going to see a lot more worse than 6 trillion, I'm sorry. With economy shut down, expect this number to be way, way up. However, it's whatever, right? We have 6 trillion, but what's Mr. Market doing? We're chugging along, right? That ain't nothing, right? It ain't nothing for Mr. Market, and I've explained this for you guys before. Why it ain't nothing for Mr. Market, right? And it says Thailand says that tourism likely won't improve until vaccine is found. Duh. Okay, we knew that. And there's India Central Bank calling for fiscal support to the economy. BOJ, Bank of Japan, ramps up stimulus with pledge for unlimited bond buying. Sounds like something that we did, but except for we did it a month ago. Okay, so, kind of like world economies reacting to the numbers and figures that they have started to realize that, oh shit, things are going bad. And U.S. equities are chugging along. U.S. futures gain while WTI oil slumps. So we see a further depression in slump of oil, which I had predicted almost now 2 weeks ago, that it's going to keep getting worse until we have either one of two things solved, the demand problem or the supply problem. Let me just make sure the stream is working so that I can continue here. Okay, and we're good. All right. So, North Korea's silence keep the world in dark. I don't know about that. Nobody really is paying attention to that, but I think there's something going on with Kim Jong-un. And then Luckin Coffee raided finally by Chinese regulators as the scandal widens. Amazing. This is something that we had called out first in Option Swing. If you are not part of Option Swing, we made a shit ton of money. Some people made a shit ton of money when we read the report that Muddy Waters had said that Luckin Coffee was a scam company, and Luckin Coffee just went down the drain on that day. I still remember the chat was going wild because everybody was up almost 50% on their trades. And then some person even ended up making like $9,000 or 800% on his puts just because he held it till May, which was crazy. And then Alibaba demote e-commerce chief after probing for uncommon behavior. Okay, whatever. Nothing really that crazy so far. Okay. This one really caught my eye though. Singapore coastline packed with ships full of oil which no one wants. So it just shows you how deep this oil crisis is. There are ships literally on, the ocean that have a shit ton of oil in them and nobody can do anything with it. Okay. Anyway, that was Bloomberg. Let's look at Wall Street Journal and see what they have. I pay for the Wall Street Journal, so I really like the articles here. Drawdown by sectors. You can see autos, the leader here, retail following second. Travel and leisure third. So actually, if you think about it, travel and leisure wasn't the biggest hit economy. The biggest hit economy was the autos and retail, which makes sense, right? Nobody going to buy cars. But although I've seen someone tell me some stuff that car sales have been up recently, and it's kind of interesting. I'm not sure how it plays into this number over here. So we'll see as this situation develops further. Pandemic triggers wave of distress, bankruptcy in corporate America. We knew this was coming. And Apple delays mass production of the 2020 flagship iPhones. Now, I think this is going to be the phone that they released in September. However, a little birdie told me that iPhone demands for the iPhone SE 11 are off the chart, more than 50%. I'm not going to say how I know the information because I don't think I legally can, because I pay for a service that it wouldn't be ethical for me to share it with you. But I have reports from consumer demand spiking 50% for the Apple iPhone SE, which shows some positive for Apple, if anything at all. I'm not saying go all in calls for Apple. What I'm saying is that their iPhone SE, the lower priced phone, has seen good amount of demand. That's all. And then, yeah, okay. Let's continue on with the next part. We usually do the pre-market movers. Today in the pre-market movers, we have lots of volume coming in for Bioscience, some maritime company as usual. Remember, we don't look at the ones that are high volume but low price. These are all, sorry, excluding Inovio. These are out, these are out, and then we have this is out. So you only have this company and Inovio, which are seeing flows in today. So keep track of Inovio and Nordic American NET. Those will be two to keep note of today for pre-market movers. Other stocks and tickers that I'm keeping note of are going to be Beyond, BYND. Sorry, let me get my pen real quick so that we can BYND, Roku. These are the ones that I'm personally keeping track of today. Tesla, and then a call out by Kevin Fomo on our chat, which was DocuSign, DOCU. And then pot stocks are doing pretty good. Also another call out by Kevin Fomo. CGC was called out by him on Friday. I took that trade. Looks good so far. I'll be watching all of these, including the ones on the watch list. So if you want to see what are the ones that I'm looking at, those are the ones I'm looking at for today. Just no particular reason why. These are part of my watch list anyway, but today I'll be looking at them even more closely. And let's get into the technical analysis for SPY. So as I have been saying for a long time that maybe we might see a head and shoulder pattern on SPY, guess what? Didn't ever happen. In fact, we just broke out of that, right? I was calling for this head and shoulders, and now you can see we have broken above it. So it seems to me like SPY wants to run higher. And I think that this is just bullish optimism that stocks are going to run higher. And the reason why is because, as I have said numerous times, the economy is not the stock market. Remember what the S&P 500 consists of. What are the biggest holdings in the S&P 500? They are the FANG stocks, right? Facebook, Amazon, FAANG. These are the ones that make up a big majority of SPY. In fact, the highest weight is going to be Apple, AAPL, and then it's Microsoft, and then you have yada, 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 right? So if those stocks are moving up, it's going to cause upward pressure on SPY. And since those are already up pre-market, you can see we are more than likely going to go and touch this fib retracement, which was actually the 100 retracement from this level right here all the way to the top here. So we're definitely going to touch this level and then see if we can go up to break the 61.8. Now on the daily, I want to bring to your attention that we could actually see SPY ultimately test this moving average here. And if we were to go there, it's going to be somewhere near the 3,000 level, okay? If you want to see exactly where it is, it's going to be somewhere here. Oh, yeah, somewhere there. So I want to say SPY 299, something like that, okay? And so I have an interesting proposition for you. For people who like spreads, I actually got this idea from Adam Koo, who is another trader. And I want to share it with you to see if it makes sense with you guys. It's basically a calendar spread. And so what you want to do is figure out what your upper bound and lower bounds are, first of all. And so we know our upper bound is 299. And let's just draw a line there. So let's just say that the upper bound is going to be somewhere here. Okay. Where this resistance is over here. And then let's put the lower bound at, let's say, 266 maybe? Yeah, this level right here. Okay. So let's just say we box in this levels here, and we want to make sure that SPY kind of goes ding-dong between these levels. Because we don't see SPY breaking above this level, right? I don't think that between now and mid of May we'll see aggressive buy up to this level, and I think that by mid-May we won't see a cross below this level too. So we're trying to box in the price between these two green lines over here, okay? And if you box in the price between these two green lines, you can do a calendar spread, which works kind of like an iron condor, to let time decay work for you. And how do you do this is by, first of all, we need to buy 2 calls and we need to sell 2 calls, okay? And the first 2 calls that we're gonna buy are gonna be on May 15th. So on May 15th, let's say we buy the call for, sorry, we're gonna sell a call first, okay? Or you could buy the call also, doesn't really matter. But let's sell the May 15th call for $2.99, okay? Which is here, okay? And then we're gonna buy, and also we need to sell, sorry, we're gonna also buy the May 18th 266 call. Okay, now we go to May 18th, okay? So by May 18th, we wanna see some kind of improvement here. Okay, and what we're gonna do here is we're gonna buy the 18th May 299 call. Okay, and we're gonna sell did I get this right? Buy, let's see, 299. Buy 18 May, 18 May 299 call. Yep, that's right. And then you sell the 15 May 299 call. You sell the 15 May 299 call. Yep. And then you buy the, oh, okay, I think I made a mistake here. This is what we need to sell. Okay, so then we do, we need to do 18 May, we need to do 266 call. Sorry, my bad. We need to buy the 266 call. Okay, and then May 15th, we go and sell a call for 15 May, 266 strike. Okay, and essentially this is gonna lock in your zone. Yep, okay, so this is right. So by doing this, what you're doing is you're locking in this zone right here. Okay, this zone. And if for some reason SPY breaks out, then you would make a loss. However, you would be out of that position by the time. In fact, you can hold this contract and gain from it until May 12th. May 12th. That's when DK is at the peak. So you could easily hold this contract and make $56 per contract, okay? This is just a small little thing that you can do if you want to play that. That's basically like a iron condor, okay? But it's basically 2 calendar spreads that are put together that will benefit you with the time decay. If you don't know where SPY is trading, you can do that. It's a small premium to collect, but it's something. It's like almost like an 80% success rate. In fact, even maybe more than 80%. So that's one thing that you can do if you want to play this. And that kind of concludes my SPY technical analysis. I think we are going to go up and touch this moving average before coming down in any way whatsoever, or we need to see how we break above with volume. So far, as you can see, we've been having pretty low volume, so it's been pretty interesting. We'll see how this develops, and I'll have an update for you on Wednesday again. But that's one way you can play SPY safely, by taking those. And I'm gonna post the combination of the Iron Condor on Everyday Growth channel in Option Swing. If it's your first time in this live stream and you haven't seen how Option Swing operates, this is what it looks like. We have a lot of really nice channels here where we have traders actively contributing to them. We have a flow bot, we have an educational channel that I'm spearheading and the leader of. And you know, a watch list. Have I not mentioned the watch list, which is an amazing you know, initiative that Will Warwick and Donald O'Donnell, I'm just going to call him O'Donnell because he's pretty cool, Day 3 have been working on. And the watch list is an amazing resource if you follow it. So if you haven't heard of OptionStream, go to optionstream.com, check it out. Highly recommend you to join. Can't say more. So let's look at the questions, because I feel like we need a lot of time on the questions, and I'm going to dedicate more time this time around. A lot more people come in here to ask breakdowns, and so I want to make sure that I cover most of them. Welcome in. This is probably the most number of people we've had on the live stream. Thank you all for being here. 73 people. I really appreciate your time and your effort to be here. Like the stream if you haven't already, so that, you know, YouTube's algorithm helps me out a little bit. I appreciate every single one of you. So let's start with the Q&As, breaking down. Continually put your questions there, and then I'm gonna break them down as I go along. I'm gonna take a quick sip of water first. Alrighty, let's get this on the road. So, would you mind going over OBV on a chart and give some examples? Sure. Let's see. Volume, OBV, and that's it. Okay. Let's do OBV on Beyond, right? Great way to, I think it's a great one to look at. This is something that I've been trading for the past, on Thursday and Friday, in fact. So for volume and OBV, how do they correlate? How do you use them? Essentially, you're going to use one to validate the other. And if you see something moving on an uptrend, like how Beyond has been, you can see that OBV has been relatively flat, and then you saw a spike right when this market opened on 20th of April. You saw some volume come into Beyond, and then an immediate sell-off where volume went back below. And then volume has been kind of steadily increasing. You can see it's steadily increasing. Oh, wrong color. It's been steadily increasing through the days that you can see. Finally, one huge volume came in, and that shows that there is a big buyer at this level. So then volume has consolidated within this level and started to head even higher, which shows me that there is volume flowing into this stock. You can see the volume on this side of the chart. You can see that the volume is increasing slowly by slowly. So you want to make sure that you're not only just looking at this, and you're not only just looking at this, because there are other factors to play into here. One other factor that you want to play into here is the shorter time frame. For example, if you look on the 1 minute, you can see how volume is really flowing. You can see that from, you know, having this much of volume, you saw a big amount of buying happen and then the flow in. And if you look on a smaller time frame, for example, 15 seconds, you can see whether or not there was actually buying. And indeed, you can see the OBV is pointing upward, hence volume is flowing in. You can see by how much over on this side. So you can confirm that there's people who are buying the stock, and that means that you should you know, consider taking a bullish position on this ticker symbol. That's the basics of OBV, okay? This is something that I learned from Jim, who's in our channel. Okay, so I hope that helps you out a little bit. Good morning. Okay, I did that already. Amazon shop looks like, look at their pre-market. Okay, Amazon and Shopify. Well, Amazon is going to follow exactly what SPY does, and Shopify has been on a tear recently, so let's see what it's doing. But we're going to start with the daily. Yeah, this is a consolidation up here. Nice volume that came in the past few days. I would be looking for Shop to come back down to test this moving average. I think that it's a little overbought at this level. You can see RSI creeping up. And then this candle over here worries me. So let's go in. And this is that situation I was telling you about. You need to make sure whether this candle here, what is this, right? So what is the date? It's the 21st, right? So you go back into 15 minutes and check what is going on over here. So on the 21st, you can see, haha, okay, so there was actually buying and then a sell-off, right? And this sell-off, it wasn't that much volume. In fact, this selling volume, yep, there was volume flowing out, but it was quickly bought up again. So you can confirm it on the 1 minute chart if you like. On the 21st, let's look at it again. There, this is where it was, right? So you can see OBV kind of stayed flat all the time, and then it's continued to increase. So that was kind of like, you see that? If you just draw a line through this, you can see the movement of the volume, which shows me that this volume actually has been steadily increasing. If you draw a line through here, you see a straight line, linear, right? Which shows me that actually that big volume bar that came out was kind of like how do you say, something to scare you. This one right here, this big volume bar. So the volume is actually increasing, and that's hence the OBV has been up here. It went from down here up here, and it's consolidating here. So you want to make, I think Shopify might be prone to come back down to test this. You see how this was all resistance? Now it's going to turn green and become new support. And then once it tests that and validates this as support, you can take a position to the upside if SPY continues its tear that it's doing right now. So that would be my breakdown of Shopify. Amazon's going to follow exactly what SPY does because it's a big weight of it. How's Facebook looking? Okay, well, let's look at Facebook. Facebook's looking like it's on a tear, man. Volume increasing. However, I'm not comfortable buying at these levels. As I have mentioned before, I avoid trading tickers that are in between swing highs and swing lows. It could easily go up there. I'm not saying that it can't. However, I just personally don't like the risk to reward this would present right now. If you take a position here, remember that wherever Facebook opens up today from, you take the position here, you're going to take your stop loss to be somewhere around here, right? And that's your 1R distance, 1R. This is the risk you take on. And the return that you get to the upside, do you see how it's almost the same? Maybe this is like 1.2R. 1.2R is not a good risk to return. You want to have 1:2 at minimum, so that over a large number of trades, over 50 trades, you will always come out ahead. Okay, so I like that it may continue to run, but this resistance up here and then this resistance up here doesn't make this trade worth the risk to reward, and that's all I'm saying. Okay, not hating on Facebook in any way, just to make it clear. Advice on AMD and Tilray. Okay, pot stocks have been killing it, man. I realize that. So AMD, let's look at that first. AMD, another one. I covered this on Friday with you guys, and I mentioned very, very briefly, volume looks nice, OBV, consolidation on this level. It might aim to break out. However, I would like to play this on the breakout. I don't want to play this before the breakout. I don't want to play this on the run-up. I want to play AMD and see how it gets rejected or breaks out of this, and then comes down to validate. Once it comes to validate this support, this resistance as new support, then you can play AMD to the upside. This risk to reward ratio that you get right now, from here, this is your reward, let's just say. Your risk is going to be here. Once again, not a good trade. So I don't like the risk to reward for AMD, unfortunately. I would rather wait and then see how it reacts. Thank you so much for the likes, guys. I really appreciate it. Tilray, TLRY, okay. So this one's been interesting, and I actually like this one. Tilray has been seeing big volume buying. You can see the stock price has not even caught up with the volume. You can see the OBV is massively bought. But one thing that I would caution is that this stock is going to have earnings soon. So this may be just a buy up to the earnings. Earnings is in May. Okay, it's in maybe a month from now. So maybe not that near, but 3 weeks from now. This may be a decent play up till earnings. And I think maybe up to this level, if we can break $10, we may see Tilray try to test 15 and then ultimately 20 something dollars. I feel comfortable taking this to the upside. You can see the ticker is making higher highs, right? As long as we don't break below this level to make lower lows, we should be fine. I would be comfortable with playing Tilray to the upside if it breaks this $10 level. So this is the key level to watch. If Tilray breaks $10, we can take a position to $15. Maybe get a $15 call for the earnings date. And that would be a short-term call, but you would have to get out very quickly. So that's the play with Tilray, in my opinion. The party has arrived. Good morning, good morning. Thank you for being my spokesman. Amazon gets a sell rating. I don't know about that. Good morning. GM cancels dividend. Where would it go today? General Motors. Let's have a look. GM canceled dividend. That's definitely a bad thing. I think it might just maybe try and test the floor one more time. Maybe $15, something like that, right? Play to the downside would make sense. However, you just can't tell where this is going right now. It's definitely an interesting situation because volume is spiking all the way between. So it's a confusing one. I personally don't like trading this stock just because of the sector that it's in, and then the soundness of the company itself. They have failed to innovate and be relevant in this time. I usually would skip GM, but if you're going to play to the downside, I mean the support's going to be right here at like $15, I would say, and then it's failed to break out, and it's been this 50 moving average is way down like that. Shows a very strong downtrend. Even if the consolidation happens here, I think until unless there's some crazy news, it's going to continue its downtrend. Very, very big pressure on the downside here. So that's the case with GM there. How do you stay focused while trading? This is a good question. To stay focused while trading, you got to do a couple of things. First things first, definitely have to have no emotions. Now, I think that this is easier said than done for new traders, because here's the problem. When you're just getting to trading and you lose $100, that $100 is everything to you, right? And then you grow your portfolio and then you lose $1,000, right? And then that $1,000 is everything to you. And as you go bigger and bigger and you keep losing, let's say you lose $5,000, right? Then what happens is at some point of time, you become numb to the amount of losses that you have accumulated. And so I think being numb is key here. Whenever you lose money, just move to the next trade. Don't concentrate on the old trades and learn from the mistakes. See where you went wrong and write it down. Honestly, write that shit down. Like, have a fucking journal, okay? And name it fuck ups. I'm not even kidding. Name it fuck ups. And note that shit down. Write it down. Because when you write it down, you will be prone to remember this shit. And when you remember it, you're not going to repeat it. You will not repeat that shit. Okay? So that's one way. The other way is to listen to some awesome music. And the most important one, never ever look at 1 minute. Never ever do that. Don't ever trade on 1 minute. This shit will give you anxiety. And honestly, looking at a screen for the whole day is not going to change anything. You got to plan everything a day before. You got to make sure that you plan your shit a day in advance. And let's say, okay, you say, oh, General Motors is doing this, and you see that big sell volume right there on the 15-minute. Look at that, and then OBV pointing down. Okay, this is a bearish case. So okay, we're gonna take the sell to this level right here, 21.40. Okay, I'm gonna buy $21 puts for GM. Okay, you execute your trade, and then you just walk away from it. You set a stop loss above, and then you walk away from it. You don't look at it, and you let it play out. You come back at like halfway through the day and you look at it again. Just quit obsessing about your trades. That's the main thing. If you make a mistake, it's all right. It's not the end of the world, man. It's all right, Thoughts on PLNT? Okay, stimulus checks going to be going directly car payments. Bullish cases for Tesla. What are your takes on Google? Oh boy. Okay, lots of questions coming in today. All right, thoughts on PLNT. Let's do PLNT first. So, Planet Fitness. This one is raunchy. Interesting. So it's on an uptrend. OBV is making higher highs. I see, however, the stock is still on a downtrend, so-called. You can say it's still on a downtrend. 50 moving average is below the 150 and the 200. We need to see this cross over in order for it to turn over into an uptrend. I would say this is still a continuation on downtrend. And on Friday, right before the market closed, there was a big seller. that sold a bunch of shares. You can see OBV coming right out of there. So Planet Fitness is going to experience, it failed to break this level too. So you're going to see some downward pressure at least to 56.80 interim, maybe even $56 or so. I would say that's going to be my guess. PLNT will face some headwinds in this coming week with downward pressure, just because of the sheer inability to break this resistance over here. CVNA has been on a constant uptrend. Weird to me also. CVNA, what is CVNA? Carvana. Isn't this one of the virus drugs or something? This is interesting. For sure interesting. Oh wow. Very bullish. Very bullish, but I wouldn't buy it right here. You gotta wait for a pullback. Wait for a pullback, validate this support. It's gonna come back here, and then get your re-entry for the upside. This is a pull, has gone way too up now, like way too high all of a sudden. Gotta look up this ticker. I'm actually not sure, but I really like this bullish volume. It's looking interesting. All right, let's do the next one. Bullish and bearish case for Tesla. Ooh, I hate doing these because of Tesla is such a difficult stock to figure. Okay, bullish case for Tesla, easy, right? Volume is high, retaining in there, showing signs of higher highs. Bullish case is simple. Tesla goes moons all the way to 950, back to all-time high, right? That's bullish case for Tesla. Bearish case for Tesla, I think that it goes down to test either the 50 moving average or the 150 moving average, because it's been consolidating here for a while. However, this is not the position that I would play Tesla. Why? It's the same case as what I've been telling you. This is in between exactly where my support is and where my resistance is. So if the stock moves up and you bought it puts, you're screwed. If the stock moves down and you bought calls, you're screwed. On top of that, the risk to reward ratio is about 1:1. So I don't like this setup for Tesla. I want to play Tesla on a swing, which means to say I either buy it low or I sell it high. I don't want to get entangled with this stock trying to catch it up or trying to catch it down. It's not my style. That's just me though. What's your take on Google and Amazon earnings? Amazon earnings looks bullish to me. Google earnings is going to be mixed. I think they will probably, based on what I had researched, they will probably beat their revenues but miss on EPS. That's what I think. And so Amazon's going to probably beat earnings, but it's going to be what is going to determine Amazon's earnings? It's its cost of goods sold. Is how much of money it has spent on its inventory to push it out during this coronavirus period. So that is what is really going to push this earnings. Do we believe AMD will beat ER, and what will be the stock reaction? AMD will probably beat ER. However, I can't be sure. This is a 50-50 flip, as all ERs are. As I mentioned many times before, if you want to find out how a stock does for its earnings, flip a coin, you'll get a better answer. Earning plays are literally 50-50, and it's very difficult to get them right. Reason being because, it's essentially a flip of a coin. There are too many things that go into deciding which ER is going to be boom or bust. What are your thoughts on Starbucks? I just made a deal trying to expand, I think. Actually, I'm bullish on Starbucks right now. And the reason being because Luckin Coffee got axed. So I think that this is a good scenario to go long on Starbucks. And I think that it's showing, some nice consolidation with a nice uptrend. You can see we've seen higher highs, making higher highs like that. And then it's consolidating sideways right now. I think it's safe to take a bullish position on Starbucks up to $84, with the volume also showing nice consolidation. So I would go bullish Starbucks 84 calls, but take it 50 to 80 days out, 50 days at least minimum, 50 days. I think I like Starbucks. And then, hi, I have Kroger puts, damn, a lot of questions today, guys. Hi, I have Kroger puts for 5-1. Kroger, Kroger, Kroger puts for 5-1. Oh, this looks bullish to me, man. Very bullish. Strong uptrend. Yep, that was a sell-off, but I don't know what. That might have been news-driven, possibly earnings-driven. I'm not sure. Volume remains high. Consolidation. I would get out of your puts, to be honest. Stable company too. I believe they do consumer discretionary, right? Yeah, I would get out of your puts and try and play the calls or something instead. I had a position since last week on Facebook. Okay. I broke down Facebook earlier, so I'm pretty sure you heard it. Do you save your live videos? Yes, all live videos are saved. They are on my channel. So the only thing is, the longer that this goes, the longer YouTube takes to upload the videos. But check back in a day, and the videos will be there for sure. So all my live videos are on my YouTube channel. Do you want me to hold or sell? My opinion is that you should follow your instinct, but I think that you should consider getting out of your puts. I can't really advise you based on that. Hey, can you give a brief explanation of MACD? Not sure how it works. So the MACD is a moving average oscillator. How it works is it shows you when a shorter time frame moving average moves over a longer time frame moving average. If, for example, the 9 moving average and the 16 moving average, if the 9 moves, sorry, this is completely wrong, like this and maybe like this. So this is 16, let's just say this is 9. The MACD essentially is like a moving average oscillator. If the 9 moving average moves over the 16, it signals a uptrend. If the 9 moving average moves below the 16, that signals a downtrend. This would be the 9, this would be the 16. That's the basics of how a MACD works. For a more deeper explanation, feel free to message me on the Discord, and I'll send you a link to a video that you can watch. But that's a brief explanation. Roku, a bullish pattern breaking out this week. Yeah, I was actually looking at Roku, so let me show you what I see. So with Roku, I've been seeing increases in volume and then some selling off, which is like consolidation, which I like. I actually like this kind of a movement. What I'm waiting for with Roku is for the 50 moving average to cross or start crossing these two moving averages right here. So I want this to continue like this, and then the 50 to start to cross this. And I think the Roku will come down here for me to purchase it on the next leg up to hit 150 or test this level basically. So I'm waiting to get into Roku, but this is what I see for right now. Volume has been looking nice, and it's been consolidating above the moving averages, which is nice. So that is my view on Roku right now. Can you speak in Alibaba? Alibaba, okay. Alibaba looks, interesting. This might be one of those that might turn bearish all of a sudden. It's a very neutral signal, but what worries me is the high that it made, and then it's been making lower highs. I don't know if you see that. This is like, a downtrend. It's probably going to test 200, and then when it bounces here, you could possibly play this to the upside. But it all depends if it breaks 200 or it bounces on 200. The volume has been looking nice though. It's increasing. So this overall is very confusing, but I don't recommend playing this right now. I think you should wait for the entry to come to you. Guys, remember, trading is 90% patience. 90% patience and 10% execution. You got to wait for the setup, find the right entry, and then boom, execute. Okay, so be patient with your entry and exits. Don't try to force them. How far out do you buy your contracts? How far out in the money? How far out do I buy the contracts? Has to be 50 to 80 days out most of the time. If I'm playing a short-term move, I play bi-weekly contracts, so 14 days out. 14 days. And then this is for like almost like a day trade or like a 1 day swing, something like that. How far out the money it's determined whether I'm doing a swing trade or a day trade. If it is a weekly, if it is a day trade, I'll take a weekly contract. If it is a swing trade longer than a week, I will play it further closer to the money. And it also it depends on your risk tolerance and then the Greeks of the contracts. You mentioned earlier that it was a period where a contract starts getting hit hard by the one of the Greeks. Is this about a week before expiry? Yes. So essentially, if you're playing a weekly contract, okay, let me take out my pen real quick. All right, so let me try to break this down for you guys. Okay, so let's say you are taking a day trade versus a swing trade. Okay. With a day trade, since you're getting in and out very quickly, right? You can do a weekly contract. And you would choose the weekly contract only on Monday to Wednesday. Okay? Now, there's a reason why I say this. I'm going to come to it in a little bit, okay? Now, on Thursday and Friday, Theta is gonna basically fuck you up, okay? So you never want to do Thursday and Friday. You never want to do it, okay? You have to keep this in mind. If you're buying a weekly contract for a day trade and it's a Thursday or Friday, you never buy the weekly contract. You always take the next week contract. So if you're taking the trade on Thursday and Friday, you have to play it next week. Next weekly. That way, your theta is going to be relatively low compared to this contract. Okay? So that's for day trade. If you're taking a swing trade, you want to do 50 to 80 days out. Okay, and for these contracts, you want to make sure that if you can, you get a contract that has a good blend of Greeks. And what do I mean by good blend of Greeks? Of course, this depends on your strike price, right? So I'm going to put here a star, strike price, because your strike price will often determine your Greek setup. But what you want to concentrate on is IV to be less than 50%. Okay, you want theta at less than 0.4, and you want delta. Of course, this is going to be based on how far in the money and out the money you are. You want this to be at least, you want it to be more than 0.5. Okay, these are essentially the two building blocks of every successful trade. You want to make sure that if you take a day trade and it's a weekly contract, you can only play the weekly contract from Monday to Wednesday, okay? And if you're playing the weekly contract, if it is a Thursday or Friday of that week, you have to play the next week. You can't take the Friday contract of that week because the theta will burn you, okay? That's for day trade. For a swing trade, you always take 50, 80 days out and make sure that there are good Greeks. Make sure that your strike prices gives you IV of less than 50%, theta of less than 0.4, and a delta of more than 0.5, and this should give you a good kind of a contract to play with. Okay, that's the basics of choosing a good contract. You mentioned period da 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 da. Okay, what do you mind doing TA on PayPal? Sure. Okay. All right. Let's see how many questions I have left because this is okay. How do you think the stock market oil react to some states opening up? CBNA's auto sales. When does bus time start trading market opens? Do you wait for? Okay. Before I continue to TA, let me answer the ones that are easy. I'll hold PayPal. I'm gonna do PayPal. What do you think of the stock market and oil will react to some states opening up? I think when the states open up, you'll see a very small demand increase, but it's, as I said, global demand has to increase by 10 to 15%. So the amount of states opening up is not going to move the needle so much unless we have cuts in supply. CBNA's auto sales. Okay, that's good to know. When is the best time to start trading when market opens? Do you wait? Yes, I definitely wait. I wait about 30 minutes to see everything settle down and then I get in. How many day trade do we have on TOS to mark as a day trader? How much do we need to deposit to start day trade options? So you need okay, so you have 3 day trades if you are a margin account holder. If you convert to a cash account, it's unlimited day trades. However, you are limited by your buying power. Okay, so if you have 5K in the account, you can use all 5K to make your trades and close out all the trades on the same day, but you have to wait 1 day for the money to settle in your account. And that's the idea behind TOS day trading. I highly recommend to go that route because you want to be able to do day trades. That's really beneficial to you. Wow, I've been seeing a lot of ads regarding Carvana and even got my car from them. They're a cool company. Cool. So we'll keep Carvana on the watch list. What do you think of Microsoft? Microsoft will follow SPY. Whatever that SPY does, Microsoft will follow. It's a second biggest weight of SPY. Thoughts on Walmart as earnings are getting close? Okay, I'll put Walmart and PayPal on the back burner. What is your thoughts on INSG? Okay, that too. Can you take a look at Uber and Lyft? Already pushing past resistance pre-market. All right, we'll have a look at that. I might have missed it, but you're thinking about a buy in Microsoft. How do you feel about it? Microsoft is okay. I guess we'll break down Microsoft as well. Have a hedge on 51283 calls. Hold to expiry or cut losses. Earnings can make this week volatile, so hard to gauge. Absolutely true. Let's see. You have calls, so 51280 what? 283? You should be in the money, right? Yeah, you should be in the money. You're good, right? If it's a call, unless you meant puts. Hold to expiry or cut losses. Maybe you want to clarify that one because 283 that means you're in the money, right? Yeah, you would be in the money. Okay, take a look at that. Thank you for your knowledge, God bless. You just gained a subscriber. Thank you very much, sir. Wow, awesome info. I appreciate you taking time. I'll for sure make that. Okay, no problem, man. I appreciate you being here. Okay, so let's do the breakdowns now. PayPal first. PYPL. I'm gonna try and go a little closer because I want to keep these videos as short as possible. Ooh, not a good one to buy right now. You're priced out. This rally has been way too fast and way too like fast and furious, I want to call it. Would have been nice if you caught it somewhere here, but now it's way too high. I would wait for the rejection or if it breaks and then validate this as support to get in. Volume is looking really good though. Very, very nice play. Strong up push over here. So I wouldn't take a long position in PayPal if that's what you're asking. Okay, Microsoft, Walmart. Okay, Walmart first and then Microsoft. So Walmart, oh, this is looking interesting. Okay, so Walmart broke out of this resistance and is coming down to test this level as support. Let's see if it starts to consolidate on this level. And within the next few days, if it does come down to test this one more time, we can go long Walmart, maybe 134 calls. For the next week or something. However, this week is going to be very volatile, so I would stay out for now. Let's see it validate support. Can you remind me to revisit Walmart on Wednesday? Let's have a look at how it performs these next 2 days. And then let's do Microsoft. Microsoft is looking great. I think that this is a good play for the upside. 190 calls. 190 calls on a solid company generating solid cash flows, nice upside, showing signs of recovery here. OBV is also starting to look nice. I think Microsoft you can play to the upside, especially with the momentum with SPY. I think you can take calls over here. See, and the reason why Microsoft is makes sense is because look, you enter the trade here. Okay, let's say your stop loss is going to be here, right? Because you're going to take it somewhere below this. Okay, so your stop loss right here, and then your take profit is going to be up here, right? So this is about 1, and this is about 2 distance. So you have a 1:2 risk to reward ratio with Microsoft. I think this is a good trade. You can do calls for Microsoft and write it up if you want. I don't see us, make sure you set a stop loss though, tight stop loss on this one, so that you can get out of the trade if something goes wrong, news-wise or something like that. Make sure you always have a stop loss, and put your stop loss in somewhere where it's not going to get stopped out automatically. Okay, Walmart already did that. ISNG, let's see. ISNG. Oh. No ticker symbol is ISNG. Okay, oh, INSG, I'm sorry. It was INSG. Let's look at it again. INSG. IC Gold Group. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. Make sure that the market cap on this stock is above 10 billion if you want to trade it. Looks like some crazy amount of volume. If it continues to consolidate here, I think this is about to make higher, go higher. The way it's looking, you can see even more volume coming in, and then yeah, I would play this to the upside. However, be very cautious, and you could even try and wait for it to retrace first before getting in. That's what I would see. Volume looks nice, moving average pointing upwards, broken out of resistance, so it's basically going to moon now, right? But that's what I see. I would wait for the like a retracement back, and then you get in. Don't get in now, because your premium is going to be way too high for calls. Uber and Lyft. Uber has been on a tear, huh? I think someone was telling me. Yeah, Uber is looking good. This is another one of the plays that I like, starting to come up above the moving average. I generally don't like to trade above the moving average, but this one I would. You know why? Because look, if you realistically think about where the resistance, the support is, it's going to be somewhere here, right? You enter the trade here, right? And then your upside is all of that. So this is your risk, and your reward is huge. So you could technically say that this is going to act as a resistance too, because it's a moving average. But I think that if it moons all the way, just like how it did over here. Obviously, it wouldn't go like up like that. It's going to go like that, right? But you get what I'm saying. I like the upside play here instead of the downside. It tried to, it's been consolidating hard at this level, so it's kind of like building a launch pad up. I think Uber is a good play. You can take it to the upside. Maybe do like a $32 call or a $33 call, something like that, for a 50 days out. And then Lyft is the other one, right? Also Lyft is a little different. Wait for Lyft to break out of this. It needs to come up to this zone over here, between the 34 to 38 zone, and then you can initiate some calls on this one. Uber looks more promising to me, because you see the way Lyft is, it could still get rejected here, and it is getting rejected. You see that? It's getting rejected here. So be careful with Lyft. Mine just missed Microsoft. I just broke it down Microsoft. Okay, so you said it was 283 puts. I would get rid of the puts and try to get your capital back, cut losses, and move on. Don't worry about it. Don't even look back. Just don't even think about it. Because SPY's in this bullish frenzy right now, and the last thing you want to do is go against it. Like, okay, you can see like it's been doing this where it kind of like pulls back and then goes higher, pulls back, goes higher. So this week looks, like it's going to pull back a little bit here, and then it's going to go higher again. You remember, breathe in, breathe out, 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 breathe in, something like that. So remember that we have to breathe in and breathe out. NET, this is the tanker. I would avoid trading this just because it is very news driven. This is a tanker company that's possibly storing oil. It may be pump and dump. I would avoid it. Welcome. UPS, what's going on with airline industry like BAA and UL? Boeing was sold off last Friday because no one wanted to hold it over the weekend. And UAL, same thing. Nobody wants to hold airline stocks right now. What indicator are you using for the dots and support and resistance? This is the Pattern Smart. I've posted it on the chat. If you look at, go look up the indicators here, type Pattern Smart, and you'll find it. It's swing high support, this one. And then you can change the settings to make it green or red, whichever you like. ATH stands for all-time high. Oh boy. 202 calls for 5-1. I have a lot of contracts. What do you think I should do when the market opens? I have 202 calls for 5-1. You mean SPY? Can you include the ticker here so I know what, oh, for FB. I would get rid of them. Sell them for profit. I think you might be making a profit on that. You said buy a contract when the IV is below 50, but I have been watching Shop for a few years and it has never been. Yeah, so the reason is because a lot of people have been buying Shopify, and that's the thing. When you rush towards a contract that's very popular, that tends to happen. So when IV is high like that, you gotta, you know, either buy. Okay, so 50 is like, you know, it's, I want to say it's not like ideal, but I want to say you can go up to like 70, 80, but never buy something that's like beyond 100. Like that's crazy. You know, 100% IV means you're in like almost gonna get crushed, I'm sure. And that means that when everybody sells a contract at the same time, your contract's gonna be worthless. So just be careful of that. You can go like 50, 70, something like that, but don't go beyond like 90, 100, you know, that's what I'm saying. Try to keep your IV low as much as possible so that when people start buying that contract and the IV goes up, it pushes the premium up. Okay, Starbucks, I already went through Starbucks. I like that stock. You can get it. What percentage? Not for earnings. I didn't say for earnings. I just wanted to do a breakdown for Starbucks in general. What percentage down on options do you normally put stop loss? Okay, so for options, I would go with, if you're just starting out and, you know, it depends on your risk tolerance as well. I would start with like 20% and then gradually move your stops to like 30%. But as you are making profit, you move your stop loss up. And that way, like for example, let's say you entered the trade here, your stock moved up here, your stop loss was here, right? Then when your stock moves up, right, you move your stop loss to where you entered. That way, you know, you're constantly profiting from your contracts and you will never ever make a loss. What indicator? Okay, I already answered this question. What about IBM? IBM, okay, and all-time high at, okay. No problem, man. Zoom, okay, I'll go through Zoom and IBM, and those will be the last two that I got to do, okay, guys, because this is getting, the market's about to open and I don't want to have this video to be too. Zoom, I think is going to be a put scenario on the daily. Failed to break and hold above. Yep, it's going to be a put. I think you should write this down to the 130 zone easily. I think playing puts on Zoom is smart. Better risk to reward ratio anyway. They might try to test this up here and then come back down. So be careful of that. I think you might give you a better entry, so just wait. IBM, let's look at it. IBM looks bullish to me. Nice OBV pointing upward. Moving average starting to curl upward. Candlesticks above the 50 moving average. I like this to the upside. You can buy 134 calls, something where this resistance, where this previous support, which will become resistance, is at. Or you could be a little more conservative and buy the 132 calls. So up to you which way you want to go, but I like the volume, I like the flow. I think that it's calls for IBM just the way it's going, especially with semiconductors and the way that sector is going. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys being here. Please smash the like button if you like this stream. And happy trading. I will see you guys on Wednesday. Ta-ta.